It's Sunday, the 1st of October 2023. In this evening's show, we are discussing a defensive masterclass of a performance as the Pool grind out a narrow win at Oakwell as we win unbelievably even our first away game of the season and our first ever away goal. I'm John Espinal and this is Seasiders Podcast. Match reaction show, Barnsley 0, Blackpool 1.
Ollie's already changed the world. A small town from the north of England with a great tradition.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Seasiders Podcast on a Sunday evening. Welcome in the comments. Welcome if you're listening on the audio pod. And welcome, Sakia, floppy haired as ever this evening. How are you doing, Tim?
Ecstatic after yesterday. It was a great day all round.
Kept it a bit on the down low. You're going. There was no chatter that you were going.
It was a bit of a late. It was a bit of a late call, actually. I was waiting for my partners in crime to make decisions about whether they were going or not, and I think we only made the call on Thursday. So drove. Actually, well, I was going to volunteer to drive, but one of the lads, his son, had just got a new car, so he was ready. He wanted to give it a run out, so I was able to have a few libations in the back seat while I was being chauffeured to Barnsley. So that was an unexpected pleasure.
Raggy Bob Stinger in this chat has just said, "Are you working for sea cabs in your spare time?" Just unmute before you respond. Unmute, Rags. Raggy, you've gone silent. There we go. Oh no, he's gone. He's gone. I'll move over to you, Andy. Are you working for sea cabs at all, Andy?
I'm back.
Oh, he's back.
I'm back.
In the
God
room.
knows what was going on there.
I don't get this. What's he mean? Is it
I don't know, but I'm definitely not working as an operator for sea cabs because I can't even operate this.
Right,
thing,
that's
so
why.
That's not happening. I've no idea. Oh, it's this, isn't it? It's this.
It's that headset, yeah.
Yeah.
Are they a sponsor of the Arndale Sea Cabs? There is a cab firm.
Yeah. They are, yes. Yeah.
Big them up then.
Well, I definitely don't work for him. Although I could sit in front of your plane, Bob, like this. Be your co-pilot. Whilst driving Andy Pillybanners around the Fylde coast.
So Raggy definitely doesn't have a floppy hair this evening. Andy, you're sat there chilling out in looks like a very thick fleece. Have you not got the heating on in your house yet?
No heating. Don't do heating. We've got a bit of Yorkshire blood in this house somewhere. No heating till December. So I had to serve a wedding yesterday, so I was trying to catch up with all the scores as we go along. So I've had the full 90 on today.
Well, we've got two people in the room who were there. Raggy was there. Tim was there. Unfortunately, couldn't make it because I was managing a game that was too late to get to. But Tim, you obviously went. The game. Let's look at the starting lineup first. There's a couple of eyebrows raised when this came in. Grimshaw, Connolly, Casey, Husband, Dale, Weir, Norburn, Dougal, Hamilton, Rhodes and Kwasi. The obvious defender missing from that was Matthew Pennington and also Matty Virtue missing out. Thoughts when that dropped?
I think it was pretty obvious it was injury related with both. If I've heard it right, and to be honest, I've not been on social media much today, but as I understand it, Pennington was more precautionary. However, probably so. That was my immediate thoughts. Because somebody actually said to me, "We're in the town before the game in Wetherspoons," and somebody said to me, "Oh, it's the same team initially," and I thought, "Well, bloody hell, there's Critchley picking the same side for once, unbelievable." But obviously, when I looked at it, I realised that wasn't the case. But the shape was right. I think probably you could see, straight away it's obvious. There's no way he's left Pennington. There's no way he's left Virtue out on the basis of just tinkering. It was because they weren't even in the match day squad. If he'd seen him on the bench, then you might have thought otherwise. So I was reasonably pleased, to be honest. I thought we're keeping the shape and we're going to go there to try and win the game.
Okay,
they were my thoughts.
Raggy, over to you. How did you get to the game, and how was the?
Well, we were in Wakefield, Westgate, which was great. I had no idea about the team. I didn't hear about it. We managed to stumble across a pub called Cosa Nostra, where they were doing a bottomless brunch karaoke. So at 12:30, we were going balmy in a pub with karaoke and all sorts going off, and I lost my way a little bit, and I didn't even realise we were just about on time for the game. I think it had kicked off when I got there. It was only when I saw Connolly did I think, oh, what's he doing on the pitch? So I had no idea. I'd had a good few drinks. My first one was at 7:30 in the morning.
We saw the Raggy Aid at 7:30.
Yeah, so by 3:00, forget it.
What time was that?
If we'd all had gone, if we'd all had bottomless Raggy Aid.
Yeah. What time was that picture posted, Raggy, on the group? When you were
7:30
starting on it? 7:30.
7:30, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was it a
Got to
mini
get alive now. Yeah, I just look at it like I'm on holiday. If you're on holiday, you get up and have a drink, don't you? So we're going to Barnsley. It's like a holiday.
It's always holiday mode on the Gold Coast, anyway, isn't it?
Of course it is. That's it.
Imagine if.
Yeah, so we had a great time round there, and but like I say, the traffic getting in, it already kicked off by the time I got in.
Always makes me laugh at Barnsley. They've obviously got two very nice modern stands, haven't they? The way ends all right as well, but they've got one very vintaged stand, shall we say? And has anyone noticed they've still got that glass embedded in the concrete on top of the brick wall? I mean, surely that couldn't be in some sort of health and safety law in this day and age.
Well,
I never even noticed that stand was that stand only had a couple of 100 people in it. I didn't notice anything else.
The away stand, they've got basically it was a massive old brick wall and stop people getting in. They've embedded loads of glass in concrete.
I see what you mean, like broken glass.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think you're allowed to keep it, things like that, in today's health and safety, as long as you had it before the new laws come in, but now it's governed, I think.
That's just mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought it came across to me about the ground generally, because it's obviously quite an old school ground in many respects, and I like it for that. But the atmosphere's poor, isn't it? I mean, I like the away end because it's so big, and so obviously, if you've got the right numbers there, you can pretty much take as many as you want. But it doesn't lend itself to an atmosphere, that ground. There doesn't seem to be a home end as such. It just seems to be two large seating stands and no real focal point, which is a bit disappointing, really, from that.
Last time we went there, Tim, I think was it the time before, it was when you were directoring it up in the interim board, and we took our place in the director's car park you drove.
It was about the only benefit I ever got out of being on the interim board was a car park space at away games. But it was quite useful.
You wouldn't think it was a director's car park space, though. It was just like on a patch of wasteland almost near a derelict brick wall.
I remember you taking it because taking a photograph of it, weren't you? I remember.
I hope you got permission from several of our fans to have a free car parking space.
I make sure I ask in advance.
You've had some shit in the week, haven't you, Tim?
Mainly for talking about bloody the meeting with the CEO on it. Yeah. I had to put the tin hat on, so I called a few of them out, but it's all light hard, isn't it? Really, it's.
What were your views on that, Raggy?
Oh, well, I hear all sorts, don't I? I mean, I don't frequent social media because it's done nothing for me but get me in trouble all my life, or recent times anyway. So I try not to get involved. But yeah, I hear it from the certainly the side of Mr. Grimshaw anyway. When he likes,
you're kind of in the middle of it all, aren't you?
Yeah, well, and it's not for me to sort of stir the pot a little bit, is it? But when I'm travelling on a minibus with him all day and I can get him at it.
I feel sorry for Iggy. He must get his ears must be bleeding.
Oh.
Tim, you'd have been crying if you'd been on that minibus on the way home. It's a good job Iggy had a bad pint during the day. Didn't know what was going on.
Talk about being caught between a rock and a hard place. I feel sorry for Andy. God. Gets it in both from both directions. Right, anyway.
He secretly loves it. That's the thing.
He must be a masochist then.
Yeah.
Andy, your thoughts on the team when that dropped, just before we start talking about the game?
Yeah, just trying to work out what had gone on. Obviously, you realise that must be an injury for Pennington and Virtue, but more looking at the shape. So Connolly playing on the right side of a back three, so that's about 7 positions he's played now. So, like I think he's still got to be play as an advanced midfielder and a striker yet, and then he's done the lot. Oh no, he's got to go in goal as well, hasn't he? So he's he might do that. We might get a goalie injured in the 87th minute and he goes in or something like that.
He could probably do a job, couldn't he, Connolly? Isn't it? I bet he's the sort of player that'd be handy.
He could do anything, couldn't he? He's a good egg. And like I think to his detriment that he'll play anywhere and do a job in several areas, and then he never establishes a position for his own, does he? But like he's worthy of a place in the team a lot of the time. But if you were picking our best 11, would you pick him? And that's a really good question.
No.
There you go. But you'd have his grit and determination, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Don't mind it when he plays at all.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, Tim. I've put in my match notes a controlling start from Blackpool. We just kind of kept Barnsley at bay and paid them a bit of respect and just let them have the ball and kept them in their own 2/3 for most of the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it was the proverbial game of two halves, wasn't it? I think the first half I thought we bossed it. I think we looked a good side. We look like a side that when they come to us, when certain teams come to us, and they're going to be at the top at the end of the season because of the way they play and the way they set out and how professional they looked. We looked like that, and it was actually, fantastic really to go to. Listen, I'm sure the statos out there will tell us how many times we've won at Barnsley, but I think back, and I can't remember many times going to Barnsley and coming away with a result. And I felt the way we started the game, I just felt we looked controlled and we looked like we knew what we were doing. Players were finding feet. We kept, like you said before, John, we kept them at bay. Most of their possession was in their defensive half, defensive third even. And we were passing it around. We're finding feet. There seemed to be structure, it was. I was pleased the way we started, and I was pleased the way, particularly that first half, generally the way we played the game.
Raggy, obviously you made it into the ground a bit late, or just on the kick-off. How pissed were you, and can you remember much of the first 25 minutes?
Well, very. I mean, I'm struggling now, Very. Look, in terms of the way we were tactically set up, I have no idea. But I thought we were doing well, that's for certain. And then it was a strange thing though. I mean, I know I'm skipping a bit forward here, but the way the second half, the last 25 minutes, it was like, oh, they're going to score. But then I happened to read a few Barnsley messages last night on their message boards, and they didn't think they were going to score in a month of Sundays, and they thought that we were thoroughly professional, let them have the ball. So maybe I see the game differently. I don't know. We see it different from our own team, don't we?
I think it's a different style that we played yesterday. That we
and I'm
containment.
not a master on these tactics, so now they did it. But yeah, it appears like we're letting them do that and defended resolutely.
The thing is, we've got to a certain degree, you need them to come forward to create the space behind, because the way we're setting up is to get the ball up to Killian and then for Killian to hopefully, get a flick, get a touch, bring it down, lay it out wide. Because what we actually saw probably a bit more of yesterday, I thought, was whilst we had the two wing backs, probably, and it's a reflection, I think, of the fact we're away from home rather than playing at home. But probably Dale was started a little bit deeper, almost like an orthodox right back. While on the other side, so whilst we had three at the back, they were almost like shifted over to the left a little bit with Owen going deeper, and then with CJ effectively playing as an orthodox. And of course, this is a big point, of course, that CJ actually played on the right side of the pitch, or should I say, left side of the pitch, where most of us, I think he could do the best job he could do. Listen, he could do it on both, but I was glad to see him on the left hand side, and it was like pivoted. It was almost like a pivot going on, where you saw Dale going deeper and CJ going higher more often than not. And I think it works quite well. And if Dale's gone, then obviously CJ can drop in and then they can move across slightly to the right. So whilst it's a 3, it's really a 4 for me. I don't know where else agrees, but we are really playing 4 at the back. It just varies who's dropping into the right or left full back position, depending on where we are from an attacking perspective.
It reminded me of a performance from Critchley's previous regime, when we played Swansea at home and won 1-0 and had about 25% possession, and we just sat and soaked them up. But we had a threat going forward that was always troublesome to them. But it reminded me of that to a small degree, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
We went a bit long, I thought, as well, particularly the first half. We were prepared. Yeah. Grimmy, and I was also going to come to the goal. I don't want to preempt that, but Grimmy was quite happy to play it down the middle because Killian was there, and we were looking to play off him, and it was very successful last week. And and he was making a menace of himself yet again. And
he doesn't go directly. He doesn't go directly down the middle, does he? He just errs over slightly towards the CJ side, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I
thought he's kicking yesterday, Grimshaw. Maybe we'll come to his heading ability in a bit, but his kicking ability was superb yesterday.
I think the pairing of Dougal and Norburn makes us a hell of a lot stronger in the midfield, and we look more organised in the middle of the park as well. I think it's giving Norburn more opportunity to pull a few more strings rather than just panicking and looking for Marv. So I think it's a decent pairing, Tim. Kenny had a good game yesterday, I thought.
Yeah, and to be honest, when I saw the team sheet, I was actually surprised he started, because I thought after being pulled last week at half-time, just after half-time, wasn't it? I generally thought he might not start today, so I was glad to see him in. And
it's his ex-club as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's always going. You're always going to lift yourself a little bit, aren't you, against a team you've played for in the past? So, yeah, I mean, we seem to have stumbled on the right shape, don't we? After trying a few different variations, we seem to, and the good thing is because we've had 2 enforced changes. We didn't look any worse for players dropping into those positions. Connolly arguably played in what is his best position yesterday, which is the right-hand side of a 3. Obviously we've got Weir who's slotted into the virtue role. So, let's hope we're going to have a settled formation and drop players into that formation as and when needed.
I mean, and big up Ollie Casey, I think, yesterday as well. I think he was a rock in that central defensive role.
He's incredible. I mean, I think he's in the probably top 2 or 3, 4 names on the team sheet at the moment. And listen, you know, this sometimes shows the value of sending players out on loan for a season. We remember it going right back. We did it with CJ, didn't we, a few years ago? We, you know, when we've seen what there's, you know, Casey got player these. I know Forest Green got relegated. In some respects, if you're a defender and you're wanting to get experience, playing in a struggling team is better for a defender than playing in a team that's at the top of the league, because you're going to be put into all sorts of situations and all sorts. You're going to come across everything, aren't you? And he got Forest Green's Player of the Year, and I just think he's come back, you know, a lot better player than he was before he went away. And that's what loans should be all about. When we send lads out on loan, it should be about making them better players, and that undoubtedly, that's as a footballer, he's clearly more accomplished, more experienced, and he's got a football brain on him now, I think.
Okay, let's move on to the goal. 24 minutes. Who wants to come in on this?
Well, I couldn't say. I obviously saw him go across CJ, but I haven't looked at it back, so I don't know exactly what happened. Just saw him come across the box, go down, penalty.
Kouassi got the flick. I think it was Kouassi got the flick on.
Well, it's going back to what I was talking about, John. It was the grimy long, you know, clearly part of the game plan. Grimy long ball from the back, as you say, the Kouassi flick on to CJ, and Raggy picks it up from there. So it was clearly part of our strategy.
Just to draw your attention to CJ's first touch and beating of the man, Andy. I don't know if you saw that on the replay. It was absolute quality from CJ. And if you're a defender, you're just shitting yourself seeing CJ Hamilton running at your full pace, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean that's what Critchley's always said, that his pace is the killer. But as many of us alluded to before, that we wanted him on the left, and we think he's better. But you know, he earned the penalty last week on the right from a flick on by Kouassi, and he's got the penalty on the left from a flick on from Kouassi. So, like, no Kouassi, no party. That's what it is. That's the new song. No Kouassi, no party.
Get your pen out, Raggy. Get your notebook out.
No Kouassi, no party. Yeah, there you go. There you go, everyone. You've got the new song.
Has there a Jimmy Husband song appeared yet, Raggy? Has that been penned? No.
I was having a think actually in the week about a few of these songs. I've been having a look around. Funnily enough, Daniela, who's on the podcast patrons group from Naples, he sends me a few videos from Napoli asking me if I can try and implement some of these tunes in. So I've been looking at them, trying to fit it in. So if he's listening, he might be on his ship driving around Brazil.
You can't rush an artist, can you, Raggy?
That's it. It comes when it comes. You know what I mean? Just ping, and then it's on.
I shall wait for the YouTube or the WhatsApp video when you're pissed up in the Arndale. And you've got the drum kit out, and you're.
That's it. Well, it was a shame. The reason I was thinking about it is because them away days like yesterday are the perfect time to get songs like that going, because you know you're going to have had a few. You're going to be in the pubs before the game, and when I've had a few and I get singing, I'll just keep singing it till it's in everyone's heads. So
you've just taken the next question out of my mouth, Raggy. What is the process that you go through to get these songs in people's heads into the north? How do people know the songs? And
previously I'll record it on my phone, just singing it, banging my table in my office at work or something, and just send it out to a few WhatsApp groups with a lot
Obviously, when your
different-
bosses isn't around and,
yeah.
any other human beings.
He comes with me to the match, my boss. Don't worry. He'll be watching this. So,
Or you
Yeah, I
get
said-
great inspiration from your fellow podcasters who send you links and say, sort this out.
that's it. You see, you get all sorts coming in. But yeah, I just send it out and then I just start singing it. That Patino song last year at Stoke, I was just singing it all the way there, all the way outside and inside that pub. And people just clicked on, didn't they? Just started to learn it. And then before you knew it, it was going off under the stand and away you go.
It
That's
went
what I say today
viral.
would have been a
That
good
went
one to
viral
do
across
it.
it went viral across the country. That Patino.
Yeah,
song.
well, that was amazing, wasn't it? That one, it was just, it was great. That, but yeah, that's how to do it. Get it going at a good away game when you know you're going to be mashed up.
So that one's the one to start on Tuesday night because it's dead easy. No,
Yeah.
Kawasi, no party.
Love it. Jordan Rhodes, Tim, as he took the ball and put the ball down on the spot. Any doubts in your mind it was going to end up in the back of the net?
Not mine. Somebody next to me, so I hope he puts it right in the corner. But obviously, he went different side to the way he went on last Saturday. Somebody was saying to me, "Oh, he was a bit lucky with that one," but you're not lucky when you put a ball right in the corner. It's incredibly difficult, even if the keeper guesses right, to stop it. Listen, he's been there and bought the t-shirt, hasn't he? And he looks the consummate professional. He reminds a little bit. Yates was a great penalty taker, wasn't he? And we're fortunate that we seem to have found somebody who I think I've got the same level of confidence in when it comes to taking penalties. I'm the ultimate pessimist. As they're coming up, I always say they're going to miss this, but it's a bit of reverse psychology to myself, I think, more than anything else.
It's like putting Preston to win on your coupon, isn't it?
Yeah, the Devon lock of the championship, as I call them. I've been winding Tom Harrison up a little bit by sending him videos of Devon lock falling.
The 4 wheels just gone past my house this morning.
They knew it was coming, surely. They always have 2 little runs throughout the season. They've just had their little run very early this season.
Yeah.
It's obvious it was all going to come crashing down.
He wasn't happy. He wasn't happy anyway, which is good because I don't want him to be happy about the way Preston are playing. So
Ryan Lowe's car's on bricks in the car park. They all fell off, the 4 wheels.
I mean, how pathetic was that midway in bleating about?
It's great. It's
great. It is great, but it's pathetic in some respects, isn't it? That
it is, but more of it.
They played some first team players. Well, they did because they needed football match. You know, that's what Central League's all about. Central League used to be all about every player who wasn't starting getting a game. That's what it all used to be about. So the fact you were going to play a few of the first teamers and they decided to play a few of the younger lads, that's their call and that's our call.
Well, I went to that game the other day, the reserve game.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And so we weren't allocated a changing room for half time, wasn't it? So we had to they went in to the changing room at half time, and we had to stay out, and so they had to have the half time.
Did they play at UClan or
no? Played at Springfield at the old their old training ground, if you like. Must be where their academy train now. The pitch was great, to be fair. Pitch was really good, and maybe that's why Critchley could trust playing. Critchley could trust playing those players on that pitch because it was really good.
Let's think he did it on purpose to wind them up. Supposed to be concentrating on the championship, and they're worrying about a bleeding development squad game. Good on him. Keep going. Play him again. Offer him another game to say sorry and do it again to him.
And he'd done it to us last year as well.
He's a Scouser. They're always the victims. Always the victims.
He's not well liked in Preston, is he? So let's be fair.
No.
He's got a very punchable face, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Even better.
But we don't advocate punching on this show.
Big
Apart
Marv
from
played.
him.
Apart from him.
Apart from them, yeah.
Did Big Marv play the whole game, Andy? I noticed he was on the team sheet.
Yeah.
Well, big up to Marv for his cameo. How long did he come on for? Last 15. He was brilliant when he came on, Marv, for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah,
I think he got us 2 points.
Yeah, he was. He was getting up there when he's doing his bit. He's certainly committed to the cause. That was for sure.
Well, he's a good player. He's just had his confidence knocked by being asked to do something that's not his game early on. He can't. He's not a footballing centre half, is he? But he's always been a great defender.
Yeah.
We were just moving the ball too slow, weren't we? He just stuck with the ball at his feet and now we're getting better results because we're moving the ball quicker. Whether that means playing a long ball is in there, but like we've got a man up there to head it on if we do play the long ball.
It does appear
the ball quicker.
It does appear like they know what they're starting to know what they're doing now. You can tell Norburn looked a different player yesterday. It's worried me watching him early doors because I've just watched him thinking he's wandering around thinking, what am I doing here? Why have I signed here? But I think the last few games it started yesterday. He looked quality in that midfield. I think it's the positions are coming together. And I always did say when Critchley was here previous that whenever a player came on in any position, they always knew what they were doing. Like he had every player drilled for whatever position they asked you to play. That's how you play it. That's how you play it. And it never seemed to change the balance of the team ever. So perhaps it's going down that route again.
I think you have a point there, Randy. It did concern me a little bit. I thought, is Norburn thinking I've made a mistake here? But then I think you then sign someone like Rhodes, who is, played at a level that nobody else in this team has done.
He's like the Harry Kane of League One to me. Rhodes, watching him, he really is. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I think Norburn's thinking, well, he's here and he's better than me. He's probably our most talented player all in all. I would say Rhodes, and I think you can start seeing a little bit of belief. Listen, we're all over the place, weren't we? The first few games, and we started to see the structure. We started to see the belief in the players, and also just as importantly, belief from the stands. I think there's there's starting to be belief in the stands that we can actually do something in this league. That's
definitely from me, because I was one a few weeks ago. I kept saying I can't see anyone who could take a player on. I didn't see anyone who was going to do anything. I had no confidence, and they've definitely changed my mind over the last couple of performances. Certainly.
What a difference 3 wins in 4 makes, eh?
Well, I mean, it does make a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We're moving the ball quicker. Norburn settled a lot more with Dougal in the midfield, and we've put 2 strikers on the pitch that seem, as though they're working together, and one of them especially is releasing CJ. So, like, all in all, it's a lot better than we were talking about in the first few games. It was just,
and you can see the confidence.
It was hard work to watch.
Hamilton's a different player, isn't he?
Yeah,
totally different player. Scares him to death now, and he looks like he wants to play. And he's got his own little song, Annie, which he loves. He loved it walking off there yesterday, clapping everyone.
And
he'll be doing Alfonso before you know it.
If you remember a couple of shows ago, I probably talked about CJ taking someone on from the left-hand side and then cutting it back, and no one ever made that run that Bowler used to make. So yesterday, Dougal made that run.
Did I know what you're on about?
Yeah.
Listening to you,
and just talking about those. We'll just talk about those players there. We've not really mentioned him, but the one player who was our best player yesterday in a lot of respects was Owen Dale. He was.
I 100% agree, Raggy. I think And he did play a more defensive role yesterday, probably more.
He made a great header towards the end of the game as well, defensive header, and he just gives another outlet on that side, doesn't he? And he looked like he was fully committed. He's got a bit about him, and funnily enough, it was Barnsley a few years ago where he scored a cracking goal as well.
Wasn't Dale there when I think when do you remember that McAtee missed absolute sitter for them? I'm sure, was it Dale who was like throwing his body on the line just to kind of put him off? Might have been. Who was it? Who's number 8 again? Morgan. Might have been Morgan. But yeah, Dale.
Well, that
Dale
says a lot,
again,
doesn't it? That they're doing that.
Yeah. You don't expect Albie Morgan there doing that dirty work, and yeah, he's like a new signing almost. I think we'd written Dale off as well, haven't we? A lot of people.
He's dangerous on that side as well. He's got a lot about him. And he looks like if he's enjoying his football, he's going to be a proper good player for us.
His crossing abilities is arguably the best cross of the ball in the club, isn't he? I would say. And but I'm more impressed that he's actually got a few defensive qualities as well. He looked quite cultured. He looked the cultured left back. Sorry, right back yesterday. He could push on, do a bit, but also tuck in and defend when he needed to.
Well, let's talk about Barnsley pen shouts. I've put a plural in there and disallowed goal. And the disallowed goal was it in front of the Blackpool fans? Yeah, first half. Took the linesman took an age to put his flag up, but he eventually did when the ball was going into the net. Any qualms about that?
Well, the whistle went before it hit the back of the net, didn't it? Oh, I didn't hear the whistle at the time. I mean, this is going back to my comment about Grimmy's heading ability. It was
a fluff of clearance, didn't he? Somewhat.
Yeah, it was a bit rash, just to head it the way he'd done because he was obviously in quite an exposed condition. Well, then again, he was outside the area, so what's he meant to do? But yeah, I mean, he was clearly offside, and I don't think anybody was. I can't even imagine they were arguing about the decision because he was. For those who didn't see the game, I don't know the name of the player, but the ball had come through. He received an offside position. It went forward and he hit it forward. Grimmy heads it, and then one of the players coming in basically taps, from outside the area, taps into the empty net. Grimmy heads the ball straight to him, but the first receiving player was clearly offside for me.
Well, I listened to the Barnsley comms, and it's quite funny watching it from a different perspective. The level of bias is quite funny. They were screaming for a penalty on multiple occasions throughout the game. Their manager, I watched his post-match interview, and he's been complaining that they've only had one penalty in a year, but. So does that mean you should be having penalties in this game? What was it like in the stadium? They were very soft penalties, like one for handball when you couldn't get out of the way of it. And
they were all down the other end, weren't they? So we couldn't really see him.
They were certainly appealing for him. The ground. I did think they were going to give one sooner or later.
I think that when you've had a penalty for. The opposition just want one back straight away for some reason.
Well, it's amazing he didn't give it because that referee was an absolute mental case. I don't know what we ended up with, 7 yellow cards or something, was it?
Yeah.
So it's bizarre, really, that he didn't give a penalty because he seemed like he wanted to give everything else.
I didn't really see.
He gave Dougal a yellow card, didn't he? For complaining. He'd booked Weir for blocking a quick free kick, if I remember rightly. And then when one of them did it, Dougal, I think it's Dougal, points out that there's lack of consistency. They're doing exactly the same thing. He yellow cards Dougal for actually pointing it out to him, and then belatedly yellow cards the Barnsley player.
It was husband that I think.
Oh, so you might be right. You might be right.
Because he stopped about 10 yards away from the referee as well. Purposely didn't go up to him. He's that 10 yards away saying that to him. And he still got booked for it, which is mental, isn't it? Because yellow cards are ridiculous. Because you can't rescind yellow cards or anything, can you? You can't.
Devante Cole smashed the ball in frustration, and like got nothing.
Well, in the comments, Nick Saltax said what was Grimmy. The ball had gone out of play, and did he take one of the spare balls or something to try and speed it up, and he ended up getting a yellow card because the ref said he was time wasting. When actually what he was doing was, it looked like he was trying to actually speed things up. It was absolutely mental.
Well, I mean, that time wasting thing's a different issue now anyway, isn't it? Because they just had everything on anyway.
Yeah.
There's not really much point in doing it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. What was Dougal actually booked for then? Can anyone remember? Because there was
I can't remember. It might have been that. I thought that incident Tim said was husband, though. I'm pretty sure it was.
You may be right, Reggie.
Oh.
But apparently, and I didn't see it, but I saw in the on the reports I read that Dougal was on a yellow, and then he did something else, and the ref actually went out to get a yellow to give him a yellow, and then realised he'd already got one, so put his card back in his pocket.
Yeah, he tripped him up. He tripped the guy up, and then the referee walked over. He's got his hand straight to his pocket, went to take his card out, looked up, saw who it was, and then drew his hand out of his pocket with no card, and left it at that. And they give him that free kick where I think it was Hyde put it in, and then it was sort of headed out by Ekpiteta, and then there was.
It wasn't a dirty game, was it? You know, it's not like...
No, it wasn't a 7-card game. I can't remember a bad foul, but I didn't think if it was, that incident you've just talked about, Andy, ridiculous that he's gone to book him, realised he's already booked, and then put his yellow back in. I didn't think it was in the foul. I thought the lad dived on the replay. But to do that, obviously we'd have been down to 10 men for 12 minutes. You've got to be pissed off if you're in the opposition team and you see your opposition about to get carded, and then he goes, "Oh shit, we already booked him. Better not." So the first yellow card that Dougal received must have been a word that I'll quote. Raggy uses quite a lot, and it's a nonsense of a decision.
Oh,
nonsense.
We have the third lot of referees, and when you see what happened in that Tottenham Liverpool game yesterday, right, you have to. You shake your head, don't you, in disbelief? And they've got VAR, and they're looking at it. There's 3 different refs looking at that one decision, right? And they get it wrong. So you can sort of understand, I suppose, that we're going to get the crap end of the stick on with regard to some of the refs we get.
Last year, we'd have definitely been down to 10 men, wouldn't we? Definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe that ghost has been laid to rest of, 10 yellow cards?
Yeah, but we'd have had our best players on the bench last year. Sorry.
Yeah. Maybe we need the rub of the green. I don't know how much we're going to talk about the second half, but for me, I thought we surrendered the initiative when Kouassi came off because... And I had a little bit of a debate with Bisons, actually, yesterday after the game. And he might be right, to be fair to me. He said that Critch is trying to protect himself because he's like not much of a pre-season, and he's. But I'm thinking he's 20 years old. 20-year-old players will run through walls, won't they? Even if he didn't have a pre-season, we're now in October, albeit it was 30th yesterday. So I'm thinking, if we need him, he should be able to do 90 minutes. But if I thought when we withdrew him, that the Rhodes Lavery combination didn't work as well as those two did. We stopped being able to hold get the flick ons. We stopped holding the ball up. I'm not saying we didn't do stuff, but it was chalk and cheese with the way it was going in the first half. And all of a sudden, when we did go long, the ball was coming straight back, and we put ourselves, for me, under too much pressure.
He was subbed on 63 minutes, Tim, and I was just making little notes as the game was going on, and I've put 63 minutes weathering a serious spell of Barnsley pressure, and we're under the cosh on 70 minutes. Feels like they're going to score. So I think what you're saying's got some legs in it.
and so then and it is about, sometimes it is about having that outlet who will receive the ball and hold it and just allow you to regroup a little bit. But I think there's probably half a dozen scenarios where we, in panic almost, we went long. But there was nobody there. Lavery's not. Listen, that's not Lavery's game, is it? Lavery wants it fed into the channels. Lavery wants it to his feet. He's not. If a ball comes in long, he's not going to chest it down or win a flick on. He's just, he actually is 5'7", even though unlike Kouassi, who
everyone is. Everyone's 5'7".
Who Wiki claims is 5'7".
It's your default height when you join the club. It's up to Wikipedia to change it after we sign them. Kenny Dougal nearly scored, Tim. Your boy. 5 minutes.
It goes back to Andy's. Andy's talking about CJ actually did a really good cutback. I think we'd had Lavery had a sort of shot on it. It'd go, or something had gone on where it ended going from right to left, and CJ picked it up and rather than just hit the byline, he'd cut inside, and Kenny drilled it. And to be fair to the Barnsley keeper, I thought he pulled off a really good save.
Probably been game over at that point.
Yeah, and that's what I was really hoping would. Because listen, it was a bit nerve-wracking that last 20, 25 minutes. When you're only one to the good, you're always at the risk, aren't you, of anything happening? Handball in the area.
Top scorers in the league as well. 20 goals they've scored.
They've got an appalling home record, though. I think they've lost 3 or 4 at home. They seem to be picking the points up on the road more than at home, and maybe it's because it's a pretty shit atmosphere, to be honest. That ground, I don't know what's going on with it, but I hardly heard them all game.
Having 4 corners missing never helps, in my opinion.
No, it can't.
Atmosphere
there's
just escapes.
I never felt there was like one area of the ground that's like the home end that I presume the opposite to us is, but it was very a very sterile atmosphere from them, I thought.
Fun fact: do you want to know who's top of the home league form in League One?
Us, I suspect.
We were last week.
Blackpool Football Club. 11 points, us and Pompey. So there you go. So we carry this on to Derby, eh?
Well, don't forget to, as well, when you're talking about being the highest goal scorers in the league, that they had that 7-0 bit of a mad game against Port Vale on the first day.
Yeah. And that stat about the home form, that's going to be important, that, because we're unbeaten at home. And if we can turn that home into some kind of fortress, and we do end up staying in and around the top end of this league, then we'll see them over the line by the end of the season, because that ground will just erupt.
Well,
those attendances will start going up as well.
Yeah,
and you know what it's like, and it'll be bouncing, and then people will just come there and think, "Oh, we're not beating them." So it's important that they keep that going.
Second half, then we're obviously under the cosh. Tim, what was the atmosphere like in the away end? Did you think we were going to hang on?
Very supportive.
It was pressure.
It was very supportive from the fans. I think there was an element of nerves there, because it was. I don't know what the stats were, but for how comfortable we were on the ball in the first half, we were quite wasteful, I thought, in the second. And again, I go back. I gave my example as to how one of the reasons why I think that happened to do with the withdrawal of Kouassi. However, the defensive performance was impeccable. I think Critchley called this, didn't he, in his post-match, where he said, to go away to Barnsley and for Grimshaw not to actually have to make a save. Now the reason you have to make a save on a couple of occasions was because of quite wayward shooting by Barnsley. But nevertheless, it's a valid point, isn't it? If you go to a team, listen, they'll be up there at the end. If they're not in the playoffs, I'll be quite surprised.
And 13 shots they had, not one on target. He had 68% of the ball to our 32. But keep
and that doesn't
seeing
surprise the stat. I'm not surprised with those stats. And it was, you know, there was a few nervous, you know, sort of biting of fingernails and whatever going on. And listen, I think, and I think we've got to realise that defensively, our team is very, very good. But you know, your traditional Blackpool view is, well, we're going to concede, and we're going to end up losing this 2-1. That's what I was saying in the second half. I said, as good as we were in the first half, I can see us losing this. But then I wasn't actually factoring in how good a defensive unit we can be under pressure.
Marv coming on as well, as we said earlier.
And
that was
listen, and then, you know, you've got Casey, you know, Raggy's spoken about Dale. You've got Conley doing a superb job. You've got Hubby doing a superb job. You've got Noburn and Dougal breaking everything up just in front of them. You know, so there's some exceptional, particularly from a defensive perspective, some exceptional performances in that second half, I thought.
Rhodes could have nicked it at the end as well, Maggie. Beautiful little dinked ball from, was it Norburn? Played him in. Should have scored, really. Lavery as well.
What minute was this in? I told you I had a few yesterday.
83. And Andy, we'll come over to you then. Do you remember that when?
Well, there was one incident where Rhodes got it and it should have been a corner, and he gave a goal kick when the ball was dinked through to him. I don't know, is it that one we're talking about?
That one.
And our guys were going mad there, weren't they?
Yeah, because it was definitely a corner. I thought that was going to score. And I thought Lavery was going to put one in actually towards the end. He sort of his shot. He had a shot, didn't he? And the keeper just.
He should have really laid that off. He should have laid that off to Rhodes as well. It's becoming a bit of a habit of Lavery, isn't it? He's just too desperate to score.
Frustrated, probably, isn't he? Probably just wants to get going. And but the last 5 minutes of that game, I went and stood outside because I couldn't watch it. I ended up with Carl Smith, the roofer Carl Smith. We were outside. He said, "I can't watch it. We're going to concede. But we talked ourselves into going in for the last 30 seconds, and then went back in." But it's good. It's good that I was nervous because it's left me a little bit lately, and I was there nervous, thinking, "Here we bleeding go."
I think going back to your point before, Lavery is searching for a goal. He's getting too greedy because it's just like when you look back on the film, of the game, it's Rhodes. If he pushes it to Rhodes, there's one defender could maybe influence it, but if he hits it first time, he's clear to hit it.
Yeah, the thing is with Lavery as well, though. I mean, I don't know. He looks like he could be a good player. He keeps getting a few injuries, and he's. But if he's got a season to work with Rhodes as well, who knows what that can do for him? Because he's a clever player. He's Rhodes, isn't he? And he if he's going to rub off on a few of our strikers at some point, and teach him a little thing or two, it might just be the kind of person Lavery needs.
It's a master craftsman and an apprentice.
And don't forget, we've got Joseph to come back as well.
Yeah,
he's not far off. He's training on grass, isn't he? So
he's on the grass.
That probably means he's 6 months away. But
he's a hamstring injury coming next week for that lad. Definitely.
Just to see the game out, though, I loved Callum Connolly's professional foul. Blatantly pulling his man back right in front of the referee. That's probably the only guaranteed deserved yellow card of the game.
And that's what we've not done as well.
Yeah,
in the Championship, we didn't do it. We were too nice. We didn't commit those little professional fouls that everybody else did. You know, and that used to frustrate me. And you know, every single time we got some headway, it seemed last year, like a team would nudge us, pull us, do whatever, run across us, barge us over, take the yellow and move on, right? So that they could get back organised, and we would just let them play, and we just wouldn't take the yellow.
Love a bit of shithousery, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. take it every day.
That's going to give Callum Conley an extra point, surely, in the player ratings section, which we're now moving on to. Let's start off top to bottom. Andy with Grimmy.
Grimshaw. 8. Did what he had to do well, apart from the header from the offside goal. So, like Grimmy this week, he can have an 8, but he's got to work on his heading ability.
I think he gets his 8 for his distribution. It's not his distribution.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's the right man in goal, and I think all of us are confident with him in our goal.
The man we all wanted, finally back in between the sticks.
And I was just talking to a Huddersfield today about Flapswell, and he said he played one game for him, came out for a cross, missed it, and they scored.
Flapswell.
Hey, there's rumours on Twitter from Alan Nixon that Jordan Rhodes might be getting recalled.
Well, it's great to
WTF.
hear it, because that means it's definitely not happening if that Nixon says it. So, happy days. He's probably signing a 3-year contract here.
Yeah.
He's a numpty, that Nixon. But I've no doubt. Listen, if you've got a striker that plays for your club and he's scoring goals anyway, you're going to look, aren't you? But
You're going to be annoyed as well, aren't you?
it's obvious that people will try and make that link. But I can't see Rhodes of having a good time at Huddersfield. So he'll be part of his own decision making at his age, won't he? Where he wants to be.
Absolutely.
You're right. And at his age, Rhodes will go where he's going to play every week.
Yeah.
Okay, Raggy, Callum Connolly, extra point, please, for the magnificent shitterousery of the shirt pull towards the end.
Yeah. Well, then 8.5 then.
Excuse me. Can you please apply the correct scoring system?
What 8? Oh, sorry. Is it an 8 plus? Is that what it is?
That's it.
8 plus. Sorry.
It's copyrighted and licensed to the podcast.
Dave.
Yeah. Well, actually, then, yeah. 8 plus. Yeah. That's right.
Tim, Ollie, Casey, 8.49 maybe.
Yeah, I thought he had a good game. He's come out of his shell, hasn't he? And he's
Best game so far for us, I'd say.
Yeah, I think he just tweaks a 9. I think he tweaks a 9 based on that.
I'd say so.
I think you've got to have a decent footballer in that, and if you're going to play that 3, I know for me it's still a thought 3.5, as in that there's always one of the wing backs who sits in, but I think he's that man, and 9.
Absolutely agree with that. Man of the season, Jimmy Husband, still not got a song. Andy, over to you.
It's that bloody Ragazzino fella. He's lazy.
Get him out. Ragazzino out.
He'll have a new song by next Saturday.
He'll have one by Tuesday night. He'll have one by Tuesday night.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what we can get going.
To go with no Kouassi, no party.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had one for Kouassi yesterday on the minibus home, but I ain't singing it on here.
Anyway, Jimmy, dependable as ever yesterday. Another of those good whipped in crosses as well. I think I noticed early on that Matt talked about how good his crossing is. But no, his defensive work is very, very good for us. At least an 8 plus. 8 plus.
Okay, Tim, new signing Owen Dale.
Yeah, born again.
Mm.
I listen. I thought I'm I don't quite. It's not quite a 9. I think I might have to use.
He was man of the match. He was man of the match. Surely.
Negative connotations, but no, I think Casey had a stronger game than Dale, but equally, I think Dale was very good. I'm going to go 9-. I'm going to. I thought he was excellent, and I'm really, really pleased that he's.
Is that better than a 9? A 9-.
No, it's just slightly lower.
Is it?
Yeah. You can still go for man of the match for him because I've got him a 9-. 9- is a great score, Hazen, to add.
Yeah.
FPRS, it's a decent knock. He only got 6.1 on FOTMob. That's weird.
Well, clueless, aren't they?
Nonsense.
It is a
nonsense. FOTMob. Nonsense.
FOTMob and Nixon need to go to room 101.
Get me an email address for him. I'll pen him a letter.
No, not another Ragazzino.
Jensen, who are we on? I've lost my track. I've lost my train of thought.
Me, I think.
Go on.
But, I didn't. Do you know what? I didn't really notice him right a lot yesterday. But that won't be down to him. That was down to Mr. Smirnoff and Mr. Red Bull. But 8 because he must have had a decent game.
I actually thought he was quite ineffective myself. As against the way I've seen him play.
Well, you score him and I'll score Norburn then.
I would have given him a 7.
Oh, there you go.
I think if of the outfield players, I thought he was arguably. Listen, he didn't play badly. I thought he was probably had the weakest performance of our outfield.
FOTMob agree with you there, Tim. See, you right.
Yeah. I think. Well, listen, and he's had a good game. He'll get a good score, and but I thought. I wasn't overly convinced by him yesterday.
Go on, you score him then, Tim.
7.
Right, Raggy, you can have Norburn.
No, but anyway, what do you mean he's right? Because FOTMob said he was right. They said Dale was on his 6. They haven't got a clue what they're talking about. Norburn. Nonsense. Norburn's a no-nonsense Norburn now. He's a different class. He just stood out for me yesterday. I think he's great. And I'm happy that he looks like he's playing how he's supposed to be playing. So he was just like a minuscule behind Dale, in my opinion, for man of the match. So I would have given Dale like 9+. So I'll give like what's in between 9 and a 9+? I don't know.
No such
9.
No.
9.
9 is that what's in between? Yeah, 9. Well, I'll give him 9 because definite 9.
Okay, Andy, Sir Kenneth of Dougal, nearly on the score sheet, nearly sent off. What a day.
He is. But I like him. I like him in there in League One. He
was industrious as well, wasn't he?
He is. And I like him in there. He's going to have an 8 today. But he's definitely making Norburn's more comfortable with Dougal next to him.
He's bringing out the best of him. Yeah, absolutely.
And also, I mean, a proper comment there from Chandler in the comments thing.
Artichokes are
I ain't got a clue what he's talking about.
Drizzled in olive oil with plates of chili.
It's worth mentioning.
Is it going to be Cantona on us?
It's Nick. Yeah. When the seagulls follow the trawler, they know sardines are going to be thrown into the sea.
Well, can we just keep that to go with the bottomless raggy-aid available at the Arndale from 4 o'clock on Tuesday night? Bottomless raggy-aid.
Bottomless brunch at the Arndale.
Artichokes.
With the artichokes, yeah.
See, the thing is, when you go to these places in Wakefield, you get ideas for the Arndale, don't you? Karaoke's on and bottomless brunch on from here.
The bottomless brunch will be pork scratchings though, with unlimited beer.
With unlimited, what's a crap lager, Heineken or something like that.
Oh no, we wouldn't serve that crap.
No asparagus, no party, Raggy at the Arndale.
Yeah,
so, get on it. We want some pitted olives as well. You'll get the likes of Tim and his cronies rocking up then.
What about the
Well, there you go.
chili and onions crisps that you're going to sell on from next week?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what this in relation to. What he's right? Is he wandered onto the wrong?
I think he's on the wrong stream. He's on
Yeah.
Chandler here. People in the comments putting really good Blackpool FC stuff, and this idiot rocks up, puts artichokes or best served with asparagus, and he gets a whole 3 minutes.
I know. Well done.
I reckon he spoke more sense than me tonight. So
Right, where were we? Kenny's been done.
I think it's me and Hamilton.
CJ, yeah, goes from strength to strength. Tim.
He does, and I think he's in a happy zone at the moment, isn't he? And Raggy made the point earlier about that the fans seem to be getting behind him. It was a regular feature of the game that his chant was being sung.
Eddie runs around my house singing it all the time now.
Yeah, and listen, that's what we want, isn't it? We want
the
young lads to have heroes. And I think Hamilton has never felt that he's quite that. And I think, going back a few weeks, we saw the smile come on his face when he suddenly realised that his chant was being sung. And I didn't see it, but Raggy mentioned that, he was lapping it up again at the end of yesterday. Not quite the heights of 2 weeks ago, but incredible work for the penalty. And I thought it was a very, solid game, a good layback for Dougal. It's a great performance. 8+ for me.
I'm sorry, I've just got to look for this from Phil. Rhodes is best served with a Kwasi accompaniment drizzled in Norburn with flakes of Dale and CJ.
There we go.
Dear me, that's throwback to the Oyston times. That kind of stuff was going on.
Best not go there, Raggy.
Don't go there.
8+ anyway. Another great performance. I'm going to become the honorary president of the CJ Hamilton fan club if I'm not careful.
Turncoat. What a turncoat.
I know. And I'm happy to be a turncoat. Listen.
Just when the Kenny Dougal fan club badges were ready.
Well, the thing is, with my past experience as King Kenny's, head of the fan group, I can bring all those skill sets across to CJ, and do a good job for him, hopefully.
Okay, moving on to Jordan Rhodes. Another funny story. I heard Eddie chanting the Jordan Rhodes song to his pals whilst playing Roblox this morning, and then the next words heard from him from downstairs was, "Well, he's a Blackpool player," because obviously one of them said, "Who?"
Yeah, yeah. Get used to that, lad.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Jordan Rhodes, Raggy, 5 in 4. What a player.
Yeah. I honestly, I keep saying it. He just reminds me of a Harry Kane at this level. Just a cut above. You think he's going to score when he gets a chance. Very clever player, and just looks the part. And look, he's won us a game, hasn't he? With a penalty. Like you say, you feel like he's going to score. So that's something. And what he must give the rest of the players when they feel like, if we can get service in here, he's going to bag a goal today.
Yeah.
It's invaluable, isn't it? So he can just have a 9 for being Jordan Rhodes, can't he?
Yep.
Straight away.
It's like Sandy.
And he's surprised. I've not been on here for a few times, but I've said to a few people, whenever I've seen Jordan Rhodes play for other clubs, I've always wondered what the hype was. I know he scored goals, obviously, but every time I've ever seen him, I thought, he doesn't look very good.
He's quite slight of frame, isn't it? He's quite slight of frame.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a footballer, does he?
No, and then I've never thought, whenever I've seen him for another club, like that, he's a great player. But now I see him week in, I can see they must have. No wonder they loved him at these clubs when he was a bit younger as well.
Mm.
So yeah, he's great. He's class. 9. He'll be a minimum of 9. He should be anyway. Most games.
I can imagine what an impression he has in the dressing room as well.
Yeah.
I think he probably gives off a bit of an aura of some of the younger players who think, bloody hell, he's been there, bought the t-shirt, and he delivers the goods as well. And he's not, he's a hard working player.
Yeah, and I've no doubt in training he hits that target all. I bet he bangs them in left, right, and centre. So they'll know they've got a top class player up top there.
And to think, we kind of signed him by accident, didn't we? Because if it wasn't for the injury,
Seemingly,
to Joseph,
yeah,
if it wasn't the injury to Joseph, we wouldn't have him.
yeah.
So,
Whether it was in the pipeline or what, but
the Lord works in mysterious ways.
It's quite interesting this because like the Huddersfield fans would said, "Oh, if you give him the ball in front of goal, he'll score," but he does nothing outside of that. But he still works hard, doesn't he?
Mm.
He still works hard.
I think
it's not like he stands around and expects the ball.
Maybe in Division 1 he has more impact than he does in the Championship, because in the Championship there's a lot of good players. When he's in League One, he is, in our team, without a shadow of a doubt, the most accomplished player with the best CV of any player. So he can have an influence on the team, a bigger influence on the team than he might do if he's playing with his peers, shall we say. He's playing down a level, isn't he? He's playing down a level, and he can have a huge impact, not just on his own performances and not just on Blackpool, but the way we've talked about every player that he's played with. He seems to make them a better footballer. Now, is that him? I think it is. I think even with Beasley, I think he made Beasley look in the Wigan game far better than we'd seen from him in the early parts of the season. CJ's a different player since he signed. And I don't think it's a coincidence.
I think you're right. I think he looks quality, and he's not reliant on pace, is he? So much. So he's a player that could go on for a long time with the right service. And it makes me laugh, actually, if you think back to, you remember the Lincoln game? I think I was on here after that Lincoln game whenever we did it, and was laughing at him because he was chasing the player back all around the pitch, wasn't he? And that player just ran the full length of the pitch and smashed it in the top corner, whatever happened. I remember thinking at the time, like, oh, another lunatic player we've just signed here, but how wrong? He was bang up for it. That's what he was. Yeah.
How long is it going to be till he gets his hamstring injury then? 3, 4?
No. He's got metallic hamstrings in there. He's had them replaced. There's none of that going on there.
Touch wood. Oh, that's
We all seriousness might have to do a bit to. I'm sure the manager's training, and we might have to do that. We are, having a game Tuesday night and then Saturday. They might have to manage him through those games.
Craig in the comments is just quashing the recall rumours. He says there's no such thing as an anytime recall.
No, it's January. It's January. They can take him back in January. Yeah.
Right.
I think Rakia does make a good point where he says half an hour ago, but he'll have a lot of say in that. He's 33 years old. He's not going to want to. He might not have a choice in the matter. I appreciate that, but he's going to. I would think he'd also have a say as to if they're going to bring him back and he isn't going to be involved and he's going to be just from the bench. He may say, "Well, I want to stay," and that may. As a 33-year-old, I think that carries more clout than if you're saying that when you're 20 years old.
Yeah, I do, and he'll have an eye on the future. I've no doubt. I don't know how long he's contracted to Huddersfield for, but if he was to have a great season with us and we didn't happen to go up, we'd no doubt sign him anyway, wouldn't we, for next season? So it could be a place where he could end up with a couple of years contract here, no problem. So. But he'll be where he's enjoying it as well. He hasn't really scored goals, has he, for 4 or 5 seasons properly. So if he starts to really enjoy it, which he's going to, isn't he, if he's scoring goals, it looks like he's enjoying it, then he'll have a big say.
Sometimes it's the right player for the right club with the right manager for that player. Yeah. And that's what Holloway was with a load of our other lads like...
Was it Mitch before, was it? I was reading it earlier on one of them WhatsApp groups somewhere. What did he say? That Darren Moore let him go from Chef Wednesday?
Yeah.
That's right.
And is it? I take from that Darren Moore's now the Huddersfield manager, is he?
Correct.
Right. So he let him go from Sheffield Wednesday. He at this level, at League One level, he's unlikely to think he's going to be a star for him at Championship level, is he?
And it just may not fit the system they're playing either. You know, it could all be linked into the system that they're playing that doesn't really suit the Jordan Rhodes style anyway.
Yeah.
So everyone just needs to chill out and have a sandwich, I think, to coin a phrase.
Or with some chili flakes on it.
It's all right. He won't score for 3 games, and we'll all be send him back.
Not forgetting the asparagus.
Yeah.
Artichokes.
Sorry. Right. We've gone a bit off topic there, haven't we? Killian Kouassi, I forgot who's up now.
It's Andy, I think.
Andy, go on.
No Kouassi, no party, is it?
Well, yeah.
No Kouassi, no party. So Kouassi, he's made us better since he's come in, hasn't he? Last
A lot
week,
better, Andy.
last
A
2
lot
games,
better.
really good. I'll take yesterday on its own though, and I think an 8 is right for yesterday. He only played an hour, didn't he? I think he's trying to look after him with Tuesday and Saturday on, but 8.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Right, round the room, man of the match. It's going to be quite interesting. Let's start with you, Tim.
There's 2 or 3 in there, isn't there, I think. And I'm sure that all those names are going to get mentioned. I'm going to stick with Casey, though. I think Casey has blossomed into a quality centre-back, and we saw those attributes yesterday.
Raggy, Owen Dale.
Owen Dale. Slightly ahead of Norburn, but Owen Dale. He did a lot yesterday and showed that he is a good player.
I'm going with Tim Casey. I think in a performance like that, I think you have to be looking at your defence for a man of the match. I think it was a real backs to the wall performance, and they stood firm under immense pressure. The highlight of that back 3 being Ollie Casey. What a turnaround for the lad, and he's a nailed on starter for me now. So over to you, Andy.
I can't argue with either of them. I think both of them going out on loan and playing a full season has probably helped both of them. Dale at Pompey and Casey at Forest Green. And you couldn't argue if you said Norburn, to be honest. So you got a case either way. But I'm easy because the casting vote is you, John. So it doesn't matter what I say here. But
Get Owen Dale. Say Owen Dale.
Going.
Put it on his toes.
Hang on a minute. What's this casting votes me? I don't remember making this rule up.
It started 2 weeks ago.
Democracy here.
It started 2 weeks ago.
Go on. Who are you voting for then? Go on. Who are you voting for? He's shitting himself, Raggy. Look at him.
No, is he hell?
No.
Is he hell?
It's a flip of a coin, really, isn't it? Between the 2, I think.
It is, and I'll go Casey because I've been really. I'm not sure I was happy with him being in the team at the start.
Motion carried. Mr. Ragazzino stepped down from the dock.
So,
anyway, what more can he do, the lad? Disheartened him tonight.
Too many times. Don't worry. we hold a good record between us.
I've been an Oliver Casey fan since I was 2 years old.
We bought him with Ragazzino money.
He probably owed me a free pint. That's why I didn't say Owen down.
Oh, right. I think our manager rating. Go around the room quickly. Manager rating, Andy.
He did well. He set us up well yesterday, 9.
Tim.
He would have got a 9. I personally would have left Killian on a bit longer, unless he was injured. And again, that goes back to the debate last night. So I'm going to go 8+, just a shade lower for that reason.
Mr. Ragazzino.
Well, he's getting there. I don't like him, but I will do when he gets us back to the Championship. Then we'll call it evens. But he is getting the team together properly, and we do like we know what we're doing. So 9, but -1 for fist pumping because I'm not into that yet. So he can have an 8.
You're not into fisting then?
No, definitely not him anyway. But having said that, he can have half a point back, so he can go to an 8+ for having one over on Ryan Lowe. So
Yeah,
he's endearing himself to me more and more.
Yeah,
A few
He
more
was
jibes
bleating
at
about
them
the fact
bastards.
they were all there as well, wasn't he? He was like, and they came with the first team coaching set.
Yeah, we took our main firm. That's right. They have, if he does a bit more digging at them fuckers, like, pardon my French.
Excuse me, like it was sat at one point. It was sat at one point during the reserve game on the on the call box. You know, they have the thing.
Yeah.
It reminded me, and someone shouted Bielsa.
Bielsa.
So that's another one for Ryan Lowe to go out. That's Preston for you, isn't it?
absolutely, Phil. Winning the Man of the Match award from the Seasiders pod will mean more to Casey than Dale. Of course it will.
And listen, I'm sure they'll be talking about it in the changing room at the training ground tomorrow, won't
They'll all be
they?
watching it on the big screen this now.
Yeah,
And they
Ollie
will-
Casey will have a strut on his way to training tomorrow, won't he?
Yeah, well, me
Right,
and you,
the big
Owen,
dogs here,
you're watching
boys.
Owen, me
I've
and
got the
you.
award.
You're the only Owen I like.
He's still lurking around that penthouse, isn't he? See the
Oh, he's
news.
lovely.
in the week.
Apparently, God, somebody on Twitter, it's my fault because I must have dropped a bollock when I was on the interim board. It's the reason he's still there, apparently.
You had a big,
It's
you had a
not
big
your fault.
crosshair over your forehead this week, Tim, didn't you? The week
Oh,
just gone.
Jesus. Yeah, that was
Public enemy number one.
that was the dartboard, I think.
Well, you are a solicitor. You should have got him out.
Yeah, exactly.
But it wouldn't be Blackpool Football Club if he wasn't slightly mental, would it?
No.
You gotta love
Still
it. You
got
gotta
some
love it, haven't you?
Crazed
You gotta love
lunatic in the attic. Just leave him there. Maybe Sadler's doing it on purpose. Maybe he thinks, he'll do his nutting if he's up there, sat on his own. Just leave him there.
See Sadler with his catapult from the pitch,
Yeah.
trying to put the windows in.
Derby
And who
preview.
knows? He might be watching this himself, Owen. You never know.
it. Evening, Owen.
Crazy old bat.
Three of his best mates with you three, hasn't he?
You like my hair anyway? Do you like my hair?
Yeah, he
Owen?
did.
Owen?
Yeah. Ooh, you've got lovely hair.
I'm still 20 grand to the good. I'm all right. Well, it wasn't 20 grand, but that's another thing.
Those solicitors got a big chunk of that, didn't they? Those
Jesus
social.
Christ. If I'd have
Why they
ever,
get- Why do they get
Better
chauffeur
ever
driven
known.
around to football matches?
yeah, there you go.
Right, we've got Derby Tuesday night just before we go. They are in somewhat indifferent form. Drew at home to Cambridge. Won the previous two to Carlisle away, Lincoln at home. Drew at home 1. Drew 1-1 at home to Pompey. And lost 2-1 to Bolton. So a very mixed bag.
Emberton's
results,
had a bad injury, hasn't he? As well, he was on
Didn't even know he was
on loan
there.
with them.
Oh.
Yeah, he
Didn't
was
know
on
at
loan with them,
Derby.
and he's had a real sorry for the lad. He's had a very bad injury. I think he's out for the season now, which is I
That's a
was
shame.
quite fond memories of his contribution towards the end of the season when we got promoted. So, but yeah, we've got to go at them, haven't we? We've got to go at them and do what we've been doing. I think we were at a pivotal point in the season. I think we all start to believe we could do something. Hope the players look like they believe it. The manager actually looks like he's taken that frigging handbrake off once and for all. So let's hope that we can have I don't know whether we're going to do one before Saturday, but let's hope we can, next time we come on this podcast, we can be waxing lyrical about another performance.
We could potentially hit the playoffs if we beat them and results go the right way.
I quite like being under the radar a little bit at the moment, don't you? I think we're.
Yeah.
When I saw the league table and we're still 11th, I thought actually I'm quite happy about that at the moment.
Raggy isn't. He's gone.
I honestly think it's a big game to us to back up. We've got a bit of we've got a bit of momentum. We don't want to kill that momentum now. And
yeah, it's a big game, Andy.
I think it's a real big game for us.
Three wins on the bounce, and we're smoking, aren't we?
And not many do that.
Because tough away game coming up the following Saturday, so it's there are two games there, aren't there, that could have quite a dramatic impact on the way that we all see our season going. Because neither are going to be straightforward by any stretch of the imagination, just like Barnsley wasn't.
Well, it'll be a marker in the sand as well if we beat Barnsley and then beat Derby. You know, we've been playing against a few of the weaker sides in the opening few games of the season, and if we beat Derby, we've passed the test of beating the two of the top sides.
Well, we can't christen the Jimmy Husband song with a loss, can we?
No. It'll be out there. My apologies. I think I went. Did I disappear for a second? Then?
Yeah.
We thought you'd gone to top up the Raggy aid, you know.
Threw me out. But
Owen's hacked the stream.
I'm going to say Dark Forces at play. Crazy Carl in his bunker. Anyway, I'm back, and now we're going.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. No, Derby predictions just before we go. Then start with you, Raggy. What do you think?
There's nothing to fear. You can't be fearing the name Derby just because they're a bigger club and they're down here as well. Down here because they're down here, aren't they? I don't think they're any great shakes. They won't be. So we just get at them and get done. But I think the defence is coming into its own, so I don't think we're going to concede against them either. And 2-0.
Lee, good. Tim has just dropped that into the comments, which is a very fair shout from Lee. Unfortunately, we are shite on a Tuesday night. He's absolutely right, isn't he?
Yeah, the prophet of doom that is Lee. Good. He's
Lee, not so good.
Yeah. In all honesty, that's the type of attitude I have when we sort of again. Hopefully, Lee, you're adopting my reverse psychology, and we can come good.
To flip it, Tim.
We beat Derby on a Tuesday night.
We've already beat them this season away on a Tuesday night, haven't we?
Exactly.
Be more David, be less Lee. In this prediction,
I'm going for a 2-0 home win. So with there's the kiss of death.
Andy,
3-1. Kouassi having a party, scoring a goal, and Rhodes will notch, and then we're going to get one from the back four. One of the back four is going to notch from a corner. There you go.
Husband will do it with his new champ, won't he?
Come on, Jimmy.
Perfect day for him.
Come on, Jimmy. Lad. Player of the year so far.
That new chant, Raggy, is going to get us over the line against Derby. And I agree with you in that I think the defence is going to hold firm. We're not going to concede, but we're just going to nick one. And it's going to be a 1-0 win to the Super Seasiders on a Tuesday night under the lights, which is long overdue at Bloomfield Road. Right, okay. Thanks for joining us in the comments, everybody. If you are watching this on YouTube, please do like the video, hit subscribe button. We have quite a lot of people watching these videos who don't subscribe, so press that button, please, if you are watching and not subscribed. And all that remains to be said is, thanks for watching, thanks for listening on the audio, and we'll be coming back probably on possibly Thursday with a Derby reaction show. And thanks for watching. Good night. Up the pool.
Up the pool.